The image we have in mind of someone experiencing homelessness may be very different from reality.
According to a recent report, the average age of someone experiencing homelessness is now 11 years old.
We think of homelessness as the visible person on the corner with mental health symptoms. Perhaps they have a sign, and that certainly exists. But there is a whole nother large group, thousands upon thousands of family members living in motels behind buildings with that 11-year-old child, with toddlers, trying to make it day by day. And they are not being talked about in the same way when we talk about homelessness.
The two main causes of homelessness are now lack of affordable housing and lack of living wage jobs.
There is just not the stock of housing that is affordable for our families. And affordable meaning they're not spending more than a third of their income on rent.
We all know that the minimum wage really isn't a living wage. It's $7.25 in Oklahoma and has been for over a decade, while a living wage is over $19.
So if you add a child to that, the living wage becomes over $30. It's actually $32 for someone with one child to be able to not spend more than a third of their income on rent. So when you are looking at here in our city at fair market value, renting an apartment that's a 2-bedroom apartment at minimum wage, you would have to work 88 hours a week to be able to afford that apartment. That's just not feasible for any human being.
Over 50% of the families that come to us are working when they get to us, and that means living in their car and holding down a job. Just stop and imagine for a second raising your children, working, but also going back to a car to sleep at night. To me, that is not a person who's lazy. It's quite the opposite. That's a tenacious, resilient person doing everything they can to fight for their child.
Positive Tomorrows is the only school in Oklahoma that serves children and their families who are experiencing homelessness.
Positive Tomorrows is one of the most joyful places I've ever been. The kids are always really happy to be here. They're always really excited about jumping off the bus, coming into breakfast, running down the hall with their friends, getting to learn new stuff. They are just bursting with energy and hope.
The school has classes from early Head Start through the 7th grade. 11-year-old students at Positive Tomorrows are typically beginning middle school.
11-year-olds here at Positive Tomorrows are going on field trips to the movies because they've just completed a new book. They're starting a new band program. They're entering their middle school years and they're trying to learn the new social norms of middle school. 11-year-olds are playing sports, they're active, they're taking care of their little brothers and sisters. Our 11-year-olds are having, a typical middle school experience.
Lettuce is very healthy and is good and tasty. I went this one. I made it go like a little deep, so.
I grew this one over here and this one. No, this one and this one I grew.
Yeah, you dig a little hole, put the seed in there, water it, and then make sure it has a lot of sunlight.
We're so grateful to be at a place where we're serving 148 kids. That looks like more than 650 individuals when you add their family members. So with our 2-generation approach, we are serving so many more than just the kiddos that are at our school every day.
The 2-generation approach is about supporting the students as well as their parents or caregivers to ensure a successful and lasting transition out of homelessness.
One of the unique things about Positive Tomorrows is that we have an equally strong family support system or team of case managers and other support staff that work directly with the parents of the children who go to school here. And that is because we realize how important the stability of the household is to the success of that child. These case managers start by doing the enrollment or intake with the parents and immediately start to assess their needs, strengths, and goals. And from that point forward, they work alongside those parents to reach their goals.
While we're doing that, we're also helping them to look at what food do you need and what clothes do you need? What do you need to be okay right now so that we can stabilize right now to look forward at the future, which can be such a luxury for some of our families.
Every year, there are hundreds of success stories at Positive Tomorrows. Successes like former student John and his mom, Mary.
Prior to coming to Positive Tomorrows, I was in an abusive marriage for 15 years. And within that relationship, I endured just about every type of abuse possible. My kids also suffered in that way too. So we were very diminished. My kids and I were living in a homeless shelter. At the time, I knew we needed counseling, and Palomar referred me to a therapist, and her task for me was to call Positive Tomorrows and get my son enrolled. And so I did. I called that day and ended up having a meeting the next day, and my son got to start school with 4 days left in the school year.
John came to our school, and he came to our school for a couple of years, and John became just everyone's friend. He is so smart and loves to read, loves to play games, loves to wave at us, loves high fives.
He loved learning, and he loved to be here. He'd come back from a field trip, and he would just gush about how cool this school is and the things he gets to do here.
He's intelligent. He likes to wow you with the facts that he knows. We used to call him a walking encyclopedia because he would literally read encyclopedias in his free time. And he really loves space. Right now, he's into speed cubing.
John loves Rubik's Cubes so much that his student film for the Student Film Festival was a stop-motion film of a Rubik's Cube on paper being solved. He was very involved in the editing process too. He wanted to make sure that I understood how the Rubik's Cube would move so that I put them together in the right order. And I had never seen anyone make something like that before. He was incredibly proud when it screened for the school. He would tell the children around them, I helped her make sure that the Rubik's Cube turned right.
Mary's rise out of homelessness seems amazing how short of time someone can go from being in the domestic violence shelter to now attending college, her son going to private school, and she's even taken violin lessons herself during this time. Her ability to overcome homelessness by taking every lifeline and using all of her own will and efforts to get to where she wanted to be have just been remarkable.
She is so involved in her child's education. She comes to the 5K, and she came to some field trips, and she came to be a part of his educational career. And just to watch them together giggle and hold hands and love on each other has just been a huge joy.
Whenever I'd see Mary in the hallways, she would stop not to talk about herself, but to tell me how grateful she is for her case manager.
Alexis Merriweather is the best case manager. Love her so much. There were times that I just needed adult interaction, and she would encourage me. I wouldn't even be down most of the time, but she would encourage me, and always leave uplifted and more determined to take care of business. They really do support the whole family, and they give you everything you need or point you in that direction. So there's no reason why anyone can't have a brighter, better future.
Most students attend Positive Tomorrows for 1 or 2 years as their families stabilize and rejoin public school.
We love them, and we want to see them succeed. And when you become family with each other, it's hard to see someone leave, but man, it feels really good to watch them continue to thrive.
Positive Tomorrows relies on private funding and donations to operate.
We need your help to make sure that the doors stay open every day, that everybody has a hot meal, that the teachers are able to teach, that they have the support that they need from tutors, case managers, counselors, that families have advocates and case managers to work with them. We need all of those things to make sure that our kiddos have the best experience possible.
It is a worthy cause. Positive Tomorrows sees the people struggling and takes them and believes in them, welcomes them in, and helps them change their lives. Each dollar that you give is going farther than just today. It's going years down the road, generations down the road. This is the investment that makes a difference.
$250 provides a week of fuel for our ever-changing bus routes. $500 will feed 10 of our students for a month. $1,000 is a housing deposit to help our families move out of the shelter. $2,500 is all the supplies we need for all of our after-school programs and break camps. $5,000 pays for contracted counseling services for our kids. $10,000 is a semester of education instruction for a student. $25,000 covers the cost to educate a student all year, plus break camps and the after-school program.
I am so grateful for the way that this community shows up for our kids. If there's ever a need, all we have to do is ask. And so many of you show up for them in big ways. And I couldn't be more grateful to each and every one of you for the ways that you invest in our families.
To all the donors and those considering donating to Positive Tomorrows, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. love this place.